Hey guys, Zach with Edwards Garage. Today we're going to be showing you this 2019 GMC Denali 1500 Ultimate with the 6.2 liter V8 engine. So let's walk around the thing and show you some of the features on the outside. We sold this truck brand new, so we have a full record of whatever little service history it has. I think it's just over 10,000 kilometers, so it's not a whole lot. Up front here, we have a full Expel paint protection package, which we did in-house, and it was what we call the Ultimate. So it has the full front, up the A-pillars, the roof, the mirrors, the headlamps, so everything's protected, so it looks like brand new up here. A couple of things on the front grille. We have the 360 overhead camera. So we got a camera here. There's going to be a couple on the mirrors and then one on the very back, but we'll get more into that when we get inside the cab. And then also note the front ultrasonic park assist and the Denali custom grille. LED signature lamps and then LED headlamps. So in my opinion, the brightest truck headlamp on the market, or at least one of them. It's really awesome at night. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see that in the video, but you can take my word for it. So we'll keep walking around the side here. Paint to match fender flares, 22-inch alloy wheels, GMC Gatorback heavy-duty rubber mud flaps, and then as I mentioned, the camera on the mirrors. This is where it's located, is just here. You may or may not be able to see that on the video. Moving towards the back, corner steps on the rear bumper, the multi-pro tailgate. So it's a multi-stage with a step into the box, which is awesome. I had a truck with this. I loved it. And then in addition to just a step, if you have to grab something, you can reach in that much further. Just before I put the box tailgate up, full box liner. You'll notice on this new style truck, it's pushed out, so you get a lot more volume in the box area. And then on the side there's a 400 watt inverter. I'll just open it up so you get a chance to see it. Plug in, and there's one of these on the inside, and then cargo lighting. So if you have a tonneau cover or whatever, it's going to be lit up in here. 4-pin, 7-pin trailer plug. As I mentioned, backup camera. Up top, where this power slide rear window is there, you'll see a little camera on the center mount brake lamp. We're going to get into that on the inside. That's going to be our rear view mirror camera, which is something new that GM's doing on these trucks, and I love it. I love the feature. One last thing to point out at the back is the ultrasonic rear park assist on the rear bumper. Moving down this side, obviously nothing huge to see here that we haven't already seen, but I will point out the power running board. So it does have a power board that when you open up the door, it opens up, and on the edge of it, there's a little button here that you can hit, and then you can step up into your box. And so that's kind of a cool feature of our power running boards on these trucks. And then when you close the door, it will go back in. Short of that, let's go under the hood, point out some motor transmission things, and then we'll go in the cab and finish up. Okay, so under the hood of this bad boy, we have a 6.2 liter V8 engine. It features dynamic fuel management, direct injection, variable valve timing. It's 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. Just going back to the dynamic fuel management bit, that's new for 2019. And what's unique about it is the engine actually has 17 different firing patterns, all the way down to 2 cylinders, all the way up to 8, of course. And it will change depending on need. And so in terms of fuel economy, that just helps for efficiency, power, and saving fuel. It's paired with a 10-speed automatic transmission. So for us, it's kind of our as good as it gets. Most power, really good on fuel, real world fuel economy. I had one personally myself. I was getting around 13 liters per 100 kilometers average on it. So that's the motor and transmission on this vehicle. Let's hop in the cab and show you some more things. Okay, so just entering the cab here, a couple things before I hop in to show the inside stuff is on the side, we have programmable driver seat settings. And so on this vehicle, what's new for this year is not only will it remember based on the key you use, the seat position of that driver in the mirrors, it'll also do the radio settings and settings on the vehicle itself on the radio screen. So I'll point that out when we talk about the radio, but it does kind of go hand in hand to this because it will program to a key. Power windows, locks, power mirrors, power folding mirrors on the vehicle. There is also side blind zone alert on each of the mirrors, so you won't be able to see it, but there's a little vehicle with a star, so when someone's in your blind spot while you're driving, it'll light up to let you know. It'll also do lane departure warning, or lane keep assist, I should say, which will point out on the inside, but it has that system. There is a Bose premium sound system. There's a subwoofer and amplifier located in the center console. A lot of people don't know that about our Bose sound system, but that is the case with this. And then these speakers are upgraded as well. So I'm going to hop in. The vehicle or the truck has passive entry. So in theory, if you'd watch me come up to the vehicle, there's a little silver button. I'd hit that with my thumb when I have this in my pocket. It recognizes it, so I come into the truck. On the floor, and you may or may not be able to see it, but it has factory all-weather liners. So they're similar to like a WeatherTech style. And they lock in, they're laser cut, they fit perfect. And when we go to the back of the vehicle, I'll show you something kind of neat with the floor mat back there that they do that I really like. So now that we're in the truck, we're going to do a dash sweep. So right here, we have our center console, we have a couple USB ports, an SD card slot, the manual, because it doesn't have a fuel, or it's a capless fuel system, it has a funnel. Should you ever run out of gas, you can use a jerry can with that. And then edges here for a filing cabinet, aftermarket tray, or I shouldn't say aftermarket, GM accessory tray that would sit in there. And then it can be closed. Padded on both sides. Wireless charge mat. So if you have a key compatible charging phone, you set it on there and it will just charge as you do it. So no more cords disappearing. You always have a charger in the vehicle. Factory trailer brake control. Couple more USB ports, a 12-volt outlet, and then the second 120-volt outlet. That's 400 watts. The bank of switches up here, just a quick overview of them. We have lane keep assist, as I mentioned when we're talking about side blind zone alert. So this is controlled or monitored through a camera behind the rearview mirror. And what it does when the vehicle detects the lines on the road, it will actually move the steering wheel whenever you hit one of those lines, if this feature is turned on. So if you get distracted or not looking, it keeps you in your lane. You don't go over. The vehicle's got your back on that. One of the unique things they did when they engineered this system is the camera's located right here. And if I swipe the wipers, you'll see this blade over there actually cleans the camera. So if you ever have a dirty camera, you just have to wash your windshield and it's clean. And so I thought that's kind of unique. And that same system, I'm going to jump ahead to the steering wheel, but that same camera system controls the forward collision alert. So I can set the distance or the sensitivity of it here, and that same system will work. So you always know, unless you take a rock or something on the windshield, then of course it won't clean that, but you always know it's going to be perfect vision for it. Beside it, we have our front and rear park assist, which you can turn on and off. The auto stop. So the vehicle, when you pull up to a stoplight, it'll actually automatically shut down to conserve fuel for about 30 seconds to about a minute. And then after that, it'll start up. However, if you don't like that idea, you can just simply hit this and then it won't do it. Power release tailgate, traction stability control, the inverter switch to turn that on, hill descent control. So what this button does, a lot of people have it in their GM trucks but don't actually know what it does. When you're going 30 kilometers an hour or under and this is turned on, the vehicle will go into like a kind of a cruise control, but with your brakes. So you don't actually have to touch the brake, and it will just kind of crawl you down the hill or the descent you're doing. Further to that, you can actually control the speed with your cruise control on it. So you're able to go set or resume, and it will adjust the speed. So that's hill descent control. And then a disable for the power running boards. You can actually also keep them out too. So in a car wash, for example, you can hit them, you'll hear them come out, and then they can be washed. And then you press them, and then they go back. Well, they're going back to the tire now, and then you can just detract them. So, anyways, dual zone automatic climate control. So we set the temperature. I always like 22 degrees. I find that's room temperature. You hit auto, and it will control the fan speed and the direction. All you have to do is have your vents open, and then every time you get into the vehicle, whether it's plus 30 or minus 30, it will always be comfortable. And then with the remote start on the vehicle, so it can be started through the key fob, or if you have the My GMC app, you can remote start it. That way, and it will automatically get to this. So they call it adaptive remote start. So the vehicle, when you start, it's always going to be the temperature you want. It'll run the heated seats and the cooled seats depending on the temperature outside. So kind of neat. The vehicle features all that. Up top on the radio screen, it's the new version of our infotainment system. And you'll notice how when I move it, it's really quick. The refresh rate's fast. It doesn't slow or lag like some of like traditional systems would. On the audio system itself, we have Sirius XM satellite radio, Bluetooth, iPhone connection, and then AM/FM radio. With that, it's all voice controlled if you want it. And then further to that, you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So you can play your music through that. You can control that by your voice. You also can use your Google Maps, iPhone Maps if you're an iPhone customer, or if you prefer to use the onboard nav, you can use the nav from GM if you're out of service, for example. Phone, it features Bluetooth. Users, I talked about the programmable seat. In here, you can set up multiple users and create profiles, and that will control all your settings and how you have it displayed here. So if you have multiple drivers in the vehicle, they all have what they prefer to have set up on the radio. Moving over here, we have an app for trailering, specifically for trailering. You can have multiple trailer profiles, just like your driver profiles, and then also do like a checklist, have a light check go on before you dock. It's all controlled in there, which is kind of neat. It tracks maintenance as well. Apps you can download if you have the Wi-Fi set up. You can download various apps from GM and download them onto the screen. And what's neat about that is as new apps become available, they become available in your truck. So I don't want to say the word future-proof because I don't think anything's future-proof, but you can actually have things that didn't exist when you bought your truck available to you after the fact. Amazon Alexa, for example, is one of those things that didn't exist when this truck was built. It came out in the last year that you can now add to the vehicle. Lastly, we have our 360 camera, the bird's eye view. So when we put the vehicle into reverse, it would actually go to this. And then you can, when you're in here, you can select front or back, the various views. And then a hitch view. And so it's kind of neat that it has that and it's located right there. That's the radio. That's all we're going to talk about anyways. Up top here, we have the rearview mirror. Looks standard, or nothing new there. It's frameless. However, as I mentioned on the back, was the rear camera mirror. So when we do this, you'll see now we got a view of the whole back. What I really like about that, or the truck that I had that had it, is you don't see a headrest here. You don't see the pillars. You don't see any blind spots. It's just a true view of what you see in the back. And when you drive and after you've used the feature for a while, you really appreciate what this does versus what that looks like. And so that's something that the truck has. It's probably one of my favorite features on this truck, and it's there. Up top here, we have a power sliding rear window, power sunroof, and then programmable garage door buttons in addition to our OnStart buttons right there. Moving over to the steering wheel, it is heated. We have a full driver's information center, so you might not be able to see it on the video screen, but here I can kind of go through settings and our info pages, and it's easy to use with just kind of a rolling dial here, and then our Bluetooth control buttons just to the left of that. In behind, we have volume for the radio, and on this side, we have our radio presets. So either next track if you're on Bluetooth, or it would be your next station that you'd have set up on your radio presets. On the front side, as I mentioned, we have our forward collision alert. Heated steering wheel is first mentioned when we got to this, and then cruise control. Wipers, which we've been having going because it's raining today. On the edge of that, you may or may not be able to see it, but it has IntelliBeam automatic high beams. So not only do you get in the vehicle and the low beams are automatic, which has been standard for years for us, but now the high beams are automatic as well. So if you're going over 40 kilometers an hour at night, the high beams will automatically go on and off, whether you pull up to someone or someone's coming up to you. So you never have to worry about it. You just get in, you forget about it, and it just looks after itself, which is kind of nice. You won't be able to see it on video, but there is heads-up display. There's a big cutout right here. And what it's doing is projecting an image on the windshield, and then I can see what it's saying. And there's a bank of switches here that I can press to kind of change what I'm seeing, adjust the height as well. So it's tied in with that programmable driver settings, because depending where your head's at, it's going to depend on where you want that heads-up to display. So as I hit it, I can go through, see speed, follow distance, all that stuff is right here. It's kind of nice to have, and you're not looking down here. You're always eyes on the road. Over on the top side, we have our Auto Track 4-wheel drive. We have a 2-speed transfer case, so it has the 4 high, 4 low. And then we have a little dial up top that controls driver mode. So on this particular truck, it has a tour mode, a sport mode, an off-road mode, a tow haul mode. So you got to remember on the Denali's, it has magnetic ride control. And it's one of the only vehicles we sell, in the half ton anyways, that has that. And so what it does is the suspension does its multiple, like hundreds of times a second. It will read the road and it'll adjust the stiffness of the suspension based on what's happening. So when you hit a bump, if you watch this on YouTube, it's kind of neat, but when you hit a bump, it knows before the wheel actually comes down, it knows to tighten the shock, and it does it through electrically charged magnetic fluid in the shocks. So when we set our driver settings, it will adapt to that, and it'll also adapt to the traction stability control. Will either loosen that up if it's in the off-road mode, for example, or in sport mode, loosen it up as well. Tow haul mode is on here too, and then when you're in tow haul mode, same thing, it'll adjust transmission shift points and adjust for that. So it's kind of neat. There's a whole section, the manual specifically on that, which is a good read, especially once you got it and you get excited about the truck. So I won't bore you with the details. Anyways, moving down, we have our fog lights, our box lights, which we mentioned, and then task lighting. So on the outside of the rear view mirrors, there's an LED light on that we can turn on so that when you're in park, got off, it's like a flashlight. So if you're doing some work on the front of the truck, you can light it up. And that's something new for us, which I kind of like. Short of that, that's kind of all in the front area. I'll show you a couple quick things in the back, and we're done our video. Okay, so in the back seat area, not a whole lot going on, but there are a couple things I'd like to point out that are new for us for this model design of truck. The first one being the storage in the rear seats. And so you might be able to see on that side kind of the cutout, and there's storage. Yeah, if you want to go ahead and open that. You see there's a bit of a storage there. And so we have the same thing over here, but it's nice. It doesn't take away, it follows the ergonomics of the seat would anyway, so it doesn't really take away from the comfort of the seat, but it does add a functional storage spot. Underneath we have our 60-40 split folding seat with our block heater cord. It's not under the hood anymore. It's detachable on these, and it's just located by a front fog light. This was I talking about the weather mat. What I like about this, or what GM's did that I know WeatherTech wasn't doing, is it's a breakable mat. So in the middle here, it comes apart. So when you go to take it out, it's a lot easier to do opposed to taking one big section of it and dropping dirt everywhere. So I really like that about the GM mat. Back to the seat here, we have a padded armrest. Same thing, it folds up when not in use. There's 3 inches more legroom on this truck than our previous generation, an 18 for example would be. So we do have a little bit more space in the back. And then lastly, we got a couple USB ports, and these outboard seats are heated. Short of that, that is our truck. If you have any questions, feel free to hit any of the contact buttons or give us a call at 403-845-3328.